What's up, collectives? It's King Chocolate, your favorite prophet, and I'm back in the mix, baby. Baby, like, comment, share, subscribe. The more you hit, the more you get. It's good to be back with y'all on this magical Monday, you know what I mean? I'm about to give y'all my reaction about the situation that I'm pretty sure a lot of people have heard of. I'm about to give my reaction on a lady named Yolanda Saldivar. Yolanda Saldivar was the one that took Selena Quintanilla, took her life 30 years ago in 1995, March 31st. Right before Selena's birthday, she took her life. I'm gonna react because I'm getting ready to show you how evil things is and how we gotta be careful who we selecting to be this and be that in our lives. You just never know, you know what I mean, what people own. What I'm gonna show you is testimony from the officer who first arrived on the scene. Pretty sure a lot of people saw the movie where, you know, Yolanda was in the car, in the truck, in the red pickup truck saying, I'm gonna take my life, I'm gonna take my life. Oh, Selena, blah, 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 okay? I know then it was garbage, and I know now that it's garbage. Yolanda just recently went up for parole recently, and she got denied parole. Now, I've seen some interviews this morning. I was gonna react to them, but I think I found the right clip to react to. It's just 5 minutes. But you're gonna hear from the officer and what he has to say, and what he has to say is very important because he was there, and I feel, with my gift, this man have no reason to lie and make up stories, you know what I'm saying? It was 30 years ago, remember? She was Selena's fan club president, and remember, some money was coming up missing and all that type of stuff. I've talked to people very, very close to the case and the situation. They all told me the same thing, that there was theft going on around her. Selena looked up to her and liked this lady for whatever reason. She gave her a job and she took her life. Her story changed on what happened. What you're gonna hear is, oh, it was an accident. Then you're gonna hear her first statements to the police was Selena's father was mean and evil and he was trying to split them up. And Yolanda wasn't having that. But I'm gonna react as this case breaks down. Check it out, watch this.
Was shot and killed at a hotel in Corpus Christi. Now fans taking time to pay their respects and the legacy to remember what she left behind. Selena killed by the president of her fan club, Yolanda Saldivar. Now Saldivar continues to serve a life sentence after being denied parole just last week. Our Ashley Paredes shares more details on the case.
Well, Fox SA traveled to Corpus Christi to interview one of the first officers on scene. He says over the past 30 years, he's heard many different versions of what happened that day. He's hoping to drown out the noise and focus on the truth in honor of Selena and her family.
This officer has no reason to lie. You're about to hear from him right now. But he said, I've heard all kind of different stories, but it ain't nothing like me being one of the first officers to arrive on the scene. Let's see what he got to say. We're gonna hear how Yolanda's testimony changed from it was an accident to Selena made me do it. She got aggressive with me. Then she said her daddy got all this going on. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe the cop lying, and I don't like those people, but I don't think the cop lying. I think it was just an evil. It was jealousy. The love of money will make you do anything. I believe this lady figured, man, I'm gonna get cut out the money. So since her father is strict, and he's basically telling her, fire you. She figured since she was gonna get fired, she might as well take this lady's life. You know what I'm saying? Which is very, very, very stupid. It was very evil. You know what I mean? What we can learn from this is be very careful who you trust in.
And we're continuing coverage on the
mass
shooting in Southport. Police
sorry, y'all. Be very careful who you trust. Be very careful who you tell your secrets to, who you put in positions and things like that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna see what's up. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get this stuff situated. Yolanda lost her case in '95, and she was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole after 30 years. So this year made the 30 years. She went up for parole. A lot of people called and told me, man, that girl trying to get out. I said, she won't get out. And the parole board didn't let her get out. Through my research, I found out this lady is doing nothing to rehabilitate herself. Her claims is still that it was an accident, it wasn't her fault, which means she has no remorse for what she did. She didn't give a damn about Selena. She didn't care about their family. She didn't care about Selena having children. You know what I'm saying? Or becoming that great star she was becoming. Let's go.
I'll tell this side of the story that a lot of people didn't get to hear.
30 years passing.
I'll speak up for Selena and her family.
But even some of the darkest memories never fade.
But I was there. She talked to me for 3 hours. And what she's saying today is all a lie. It's all a lie.
John Houston was among the first officers to respond on March 31st, 1995. When you look at it, can you instantly go back to that moment?
You remember everything. As soon as you see something like that, you just kind of give you a flashback.
Coming face to face with Yolanda Saldivar at noon, just minutes after she shot and killed Selena at the Days Inn Motel in Corpus Christi. Where exactly were you when you got to the scene?
Well, we were like by the light pole. There on the first light pole off the road, to the left of it is where she was parked. That way, there was an 18-wheeler, and there was a white truck next to it, which is where myself and my partner stood.
We're told Yolanda was in a state of hysteria, threatening to kill herself while barricaded in a red pickup truck. A standoff unfolding in the parking lot.
Me on the front left.
This cop is describing being there with this woman, older lady, with a pistol to her head, finger on the trigger, bullets in the chamber. But nothing happened. She didn't pull it. Even though she told the police, oh, I'm gonna do it, nothing happened to her. But when she was in that room with Selena, something happened in that room. And we know what happened. I know exactly what happened. It was greed, it was stupidity and foolishness and jealousy that caused this to happen. I really believe this woman probably was thinking that if I do it in here, I could make it look like somebody else did it. But what happened was, remember, it was a 7-hour standoff with the police. They tell her, get out the car, just surrender. You know what I'm saying? What did you do? They're not even knowing Selena gone. Then they hears on the radio, and Yolanda heard it while she's sitting in the truck playing games with the police, that Selena's dead. That's what she said. Oh, I'm gonna take my life. I'm gonna take my own life. This is crazy. I loved Selena. But when she got to the station, that's not what she was saying. Let's go.
Truck, and then my partner Joe came around the front trying to talk to her direct. That first picture is within the first 5 minutes of us getting there, because the officer's laying on the ground and the other one's in the back. And then I came around, was talking to her.
Unaware at the time of who she was or who she had shot, along with the accusations against her of embezzling money from Selena's fan club and clothing boutique. Their primary focus was calming her down.
At one point, we almost had her out, and then she heard on the radio something that said, like, Selena has died, and she started freaking out.
But toward the end of the third hour, Houston says her statements were clear.
Her dad tried to break us up, tried to get us apart. I wasn't gonna let him do that. He made me do it, and all that kind of, we were like, wait a minute, okay, like, you really meant to shoot her.
Hostage negotiators taking over shortly after, and all of a sudden, Houston says Yolanda's account of what happened changed.
It went from, the dad made me do it with me. I had to end it because he was interfering, he was getting in between us, to, it was an accident for the next 6 hours.
Yolanda ultimately surrendering around 9 o'clock that night and taken into custody. Questions surrounding the shooting piling up.
She had a gun next to her head with the hammer pulled back, with her finger on the trigger for 7.5 hours. And it never went off. How's that possible? It only happened when Selena was standing in front of her
Saldivar was originally indicted here in Nueces County. Her case was later transferred to Harris County in 1995, where she was tried and convicted. We spoke with former Nueces County DA Carlos Valdez, who was the lead prosecutor in the case.
She had reason to kill her. She was embezzling money from her, and they had found out about it, and they were going to prosecute her, and she was going to have to leave Selena's employ.
Yolanda was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after serving 30 years. Her recent request was denied. Valdez was not surprised.
Now lately she's been saying that she's a political prisoner and that Selena caused this by her aggressiveness toward her. So all that indicates she has not changed at all. There has been no rehabilitation.
Houston says Yolanda and her lies continue to be at the center of headlines and documentaries. 30 years later, what do you want the community to know?
There's nothing that supports any of the things she said. You can't lose sight of the fact of what happened that day. Not what happened a week before. And what happened that day.
Houston was there to hear Yolanda's first words following the shooting. Now he wants to make sure he shares his truth.
Somebody has to speak up for the victim, because they don't get to tell their side of the story, you know. She didn't live long enough to even say a word, you know, so it's my obligation to do it for her and any other victim.
How old were you back then?
And here's the 30-minute video with that same lady that you just seen. Ladies and gentlemen, what you just heard was the officer that was there. He said Yolanda admitted it and said that the father was mean. And he was trying to split them apart and break up the friendship. A lot of people believe these movies when they make the movies about these people's lives, but they don't put everything in it. They put their Hollywood spin on it. So a lot of people is confused about the case. I never was confused about the case. As y'all know, a lot of people know Selena was one of my favorite entertainers of all time. You know, definitely my top 2 female singers for real. It's just a shame. Now, the reason I'm bringing up that movie is because a lot of people saw her father say, "You wearing a bra, you're not wearing a fucking bra," and blah, blah, blah. Sometimes it's good to have a strict father. Sometimes it's okay to have a strict mother. Because if we think about it, what would have happened had Selena just stayed away from this Yolanda lady and fire her like her daddy was saying? Now, I believe that was true. I mean, I believe it was true that he wanted her fired. Sometimes fathers know best. That's just true. It's not always the mother knows best. Sometimes the father knows best, especially if he's strict and he's really looking for the well-being of his children. Now, keep in mind, Selena got money now. Now she getting paid. She getting that money. She got her clothing thing going on, Barbie dolls, all kind of stuff, right? And she didn't even touch halfway where she was going. Yolanda hears that I'm about to get fired. And she concocted a scheme in her head that, well, if I'm going to lose, you is too, Selena. She took her life for no apparent reason. Think about it. She didn't do nothing to the daddy. She said, I could hurt that family. I could hurt their father. Why he all hard on his kids and making them do music and all of this crazy nonsense that people been hearing through years. He made them do this. He made her learn Spanish. Look, every movie you see, don't believe everything in the movie. Hollywood puts their own spin on stuff, just like the Jacksons. They said Joseph beat the kids. He went crazy. He was going crazy. So now you got a lot of people don't like the fathers because of what the movies put in it. Use your intuition. Sometimes your father right. Sometimes your spiritual leader's right when they say you probably want to cut that friendship off. Warning comes before destruction is what I'm saying. Her father told Selena to fire her and leave her alone. Selena meets up in the motel room. Not a classy hotel, a nasty Days Inn motel. And that was her last day, March 31st. A little time later, it was about 12 noon when the police pulled up on the scene and realized, oh, there's a lady with a gun to her head. Yolanda never intended on taking her life. Think about it. She'd been locked up for 30 years and she didn't strangle herself. She didn't do none of that. And the inmates letting her live. Think about what I'm saying to you. All these fans around the world that love Selena, even the people that was locked up when that was going on, nobody took her. Nobody took her out. But she took out somebody that was going to be better than Beyonce and Taylor Swift. But not even close. Her and Mariah was the greatest two I've ever seen as far as female singers go. Y'all got your opinion, I got mine. It don't matter. But the lady, she was a young lady, and to lose her life like that was really senseless. I don't care how strict her father was. He was dead right when he said there's something wrong with her. And as we say, as we see, 30 years later, this woman has not repented. She has not said she was sorry. She feels bad. None of that. The last time I seen her talk, she said, Selena, they was wrestling with the gun in the hand and it went off. It can't be all of these stories. It got to be this bitch firing me. The family don't want me in the business no more. I'm making nice money. I'm the president of the fan club. So I'm going to take something close to this family. Close to these fans. All around the world, Selena had fans. And she took Selena out. Selena can't have kids. She can't make records. She can't make movies. You know, what would have happened had she said, my father said, stay away. I'm not meeting up nobody at no rooms without security. Where was security? This young lady was rich. She was making bread. She wasn't making big, you know, like Jay-Z now, but she was on her way. She was going to be making that money, El Chapo money, had she continued to be living 30 years later. Me and Selena 2 years older than me. She would have been 2 years older than me. So she wasn't old. Had she lived, I wouldn't say she's old. She still would have been great, I believe. Just like Whitney would have been great. Patti LaBelle in her older days, Gladys Knight, Dionne Ward, you know what I mean? When they got older, they still had it. Barry White, Stevie Wonder still can blow. R. Kelly can blow. Michael Jackson at 50, they said 50 shows, 50 days, you can do it, come on. His killer gets some years of they called it involuntary manslaughter. They released that man. Somebody didn't want Michael talking and running his mouth. They didn't want Bill Cosby running his mouth. They didn't want Malcolm X running his mouth. Y'all see where I'm going? Aaliyah, they did not want Aaliyah to change. They didn't want Left Eye to meet Dr. Sebi and start fasting different things in her life. They didn't want that. They took him out. So this young lady took Selena. Texas cried big time. They denied parole for number one, she's not remorseful. I don't even think this lady really want to get out of prison. To go to the parole board with nothing. No diploma, no nothing. No Christian classes. I'm just saying. She didn't do nothing about herself. She just did 30 flat years and said, let me out. They said no. So in 2030, she goes back up for parole. That's in 5 years. They're going to give her 5 years to get a degree or something like that. Take some kind of class so they could possibly let her out. It's not going to happen. I could see it. That's not going to happen. Either this lady going to lose her life in prison or, you know, whatever. Or a natural causes type situation. You know what I'm saying? Yolanda Saldivar is disgusting to me. If you get fired, a lot of us been fired before and told, but we don't need your services no more. Did we go back and take out the employer or the person's daughter or son? Did we do that? No, we didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? My reaction to this Selena situation is it's sad. It shouldn't have never happened. It was ridiculous. It's stupid. They should have denied her parole. But where is she going to go really if they release her? You know it's going to be TMZ, cameras all over the place. And you know how many Selena fans there is around the world to this day that would say, I would love to see this. You know what I'm saying? So keeping her in is punishment, but letting her out would have been a punishment too, because she would have been out of here real quick. Trust me when I say that, I know it. The day TMZ and the internet post, oh, she's moving to Florida or this and that, a hit gonna come on, and there's not gonna be any more Yolanda, because eye for an eye and tooth for a tooth. And what we put out, we gotta get it back, you know what I'm saying? She did Selena dirty and barricaded herself in the truck and said, I feel bad, I'm going to take my life. She never pulled the trigger. But the trigger went off when her and Selena was in that room talking about what they were talking about. I just wish Selena had just did what her daddy said do and stay away from her and leave her alone, because he was right. It ain't just women right all the time. Men right too sometimes. Can I get a witness, somebody? That's my reaction on the Selena situation. It's sad, it's sick, it's disgusting, it's stupid. Some of y'all know this weekend I went to the Selena Experience, the Dreaming of You tour, and it was amazing, it was beautiful. You know, to this very minute, it still touches my heart to see somebody showing love for Selena. This lady did a great job. She did a wonderful job. It was really the Selena Experience. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. Then she took pictures with us. We had front row seats. I'm right in front of her. I'm talking about, like, I'm right here, the stage right here. Y'all seen the videos? Front row seats. I remember I went to the Jacksons concert and I was like in the second row, but I'd never been in the front row at a concert. Then they was partying outside after that, so we went over there. Then the next day we went to the car show. It was a wedding the day, the Selena thing. So it was a lot going on. I had a very, very beautiful weekend. I think this past weekend was the best weekend in 2025 for me personally, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that was there. I met a guy from Corpus Christi, Texas, and he talked to me, and I could tell he was from there. And we chopped it up, and his auntie was in a wheelchair or something like that. She said, that's my nephew talking to you. I said, nice. She said, but I'm from Chicago. He from Corpus Christi, Texas. I said, Selena from Corpus Christi, Texas. Actually, she from Lake Jackson, Texas, but whatever. It's Corpus Christi, she grew up, okay? Boom. So it was good to meet him. He said, yeah, I was there, you know what I mean? And I just felt Selena's vibe all over the building, even outside, everywhere I went. And you know, it was a great experience, but it's just sad that we wouldn't have had to go to a tribute had this woman kept her hands and her mind to herself and found another job. You know what I'm saying? There might be somebody gonna see this video. Maybe somebody wants you out of a company, or they don't want to kick it with you no more. That's not a reason to take a person's life. You dig? That's my reaction. Yours might be different, but it was stupid. No matter what the nationality is, has Selena been white, brown, green, turquoise, you don't do nothing like that. You know, I believe the police officer that said her first excuse was the daddy was mean and he was trying to split us up. That's what she said, 100%. The one thing about an eagle-eyed prophet, if that family want to know what happened, they could contact me. Some of y'all know one of my subscribers is her cousin. You know what I'm saying? A couple of her relatives is my Facebook friends. So, you know what I mean? I got some quintanillas that I know. And as a prophet, I can answer any question they ask me. It ain't gonna be no mixing the stories up, because it is what it is. A lot of y'all know I met Dr. Seabees, all his children, you know what I'm saying? It's just a dream come true these last few years, and the rest of the years that God give us and give me, you know. Selena's memory is gonna always be t-shirts, hats, dedications and things like that, and it should. We should keep her memory alive, and Michael Jackson. You know, we should keep their, because they was top notch. They way up here. They wasn't okay, you know, mediocre. These was stars. You got stars, then you got superstars. And Michael and Selena, Mariah, to me, are superstars. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan are superstars. Stevie Wonder, him too. Barry White, very unique and different. That's how my man operate. Y'all's top notch might be Usher and all of them, you know, sissies. But this has been my reaction to Yolanda Saldivar taking Selena Quintanilla out of here for no reason. You know, remember she said her daddy made me do it. This lady's crazy. She ain't gonna never apologize. And that's what happened when we trust the wrong bozo and idiot. You know what I'm saying? My name is King Chocolate. If you would like to book a private session with me so we can talk one-on-one about your case or whatever, then book it with me. My community page has my email. You talk to me like you're a grown man or a grown woman. Some people, kids, watch me. Shout out to the kids that watch me. They call me the Choco King. They call me the KOP and the Ego App Prophet. King of Prayer, King of Prophecy. You dig? I'm out of here, y'all. Rest in peace, Selena Quintanilla. You feel me?